Good evening. Victims and top church officials say it is a new day for the Twin Cities Archdiocese after a settlement in a child sex abuse case.
As part of that settlement, a sweeping set of 17 new protocols will be put in place for handling abuse cases. In an emotional news conference, a bishop and the vicar general shook hands with and embraced 20 abuse victims after the settlement was announced.
And Esme Murphy was at the news conference, which was held today for both victims and church officials, right?
Well, Amelia and Frank, this was really truly remarkable. After a year of scandal and turmoil, it was extraordinary to see victims and two of the top clergy in the Archdiocese pledging to work together to end a problem that has scarred the Catholic Church both here and across the country.
But this is a day of hope, and it's a day of promise.
Jeff Anderson, who has sued the church dozens of times, is among those expressing optimism. The settlement comes in the case of a man who said he was abused by Father Thomas Adamson in the 1970s at a church in St. Paul Park. In a deposition, Adamson admitted abusing at least 10 Minnesota boys between 1958 and the 1980s.
It probably started with masturbation and developed from there.
One of Father Adamson's last victims was Jim Keenan, who spoke of his hope today.
I think today, for anybody who's still a victim, who feels like you don't have a voice, you do. You have a huge voice.
Among the changes, priests will have to sign statements saying they have not abused children, and priests under investigation will not be reassigned.
I'm going to admit that I'm skeptical.
But Al Mashad, an outspoken abuse victim, says he is also hopeful.
Today is a day that I never, in my wildest dreams, would have thought I'd see. But let it be a day of healing. Let it be a day of cooperation.
Bishop Andrew Cousins said what so many here had been waiting for.
I do want to say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry this happened.
Among those at the news conference, Jennifer Hasselberger, the former advisor to Archbishop John Nienstedt, turned whistleblower.
I think the settlement in itself is a tremendous victory for people who care about children in the Archdiocese of St. Paul and Minneapolis.
Notably absent from the news conference was Archbishop John Nienstedt. Bishop Cousins said that Nienstedt had wanted to be there but was unable to return from a mission trip to Kenya. Archbishop Nienstedt issued a statement saying he supports the changes. Another significant item, church officials acknowledged that because of all these abuse cases, the Archdiocese may have to declare bankruptcy, Amelia.
So do they disclose the financial settlement in this case then?
They did not disclose the settlement terms in this one particular case. They did acknowledge this is likely going to lead to additional lawsuits, additional settlements, and again, the possibility of bankruptcy.
All right. Thank you, Esme.